Now let me welcome Dharmesh Kant from IndiaNivesh. Dharmesh, good morning and welcome. First up, let's talk about two sort of pointers here. Number one, Persistent. What do you make out of the results and the buyback price? Is it looking conducive for the investors? And number two, OMC again. That is another theme from the result perspective. Some weak sort of results are being indicated by Chennai Petro. Perhaps that could be coming for others also. So how should both the themes be played?
Yeah, good morning. Persistent we don't track, so I won't be able to comment on the result specific guidelines. But OMCs, I think they are just a trading bet, because last quarter what happened with OMCs was because of the flare up in the crude prices and lot of price hikes which they were unable to take. So that was the reason their bottom line got hit. This time around, in spite of gradual shift in the price hikes, but the GRMs are low. So again, they will be hit by the weak set of numbers. So my own sense is, at best you can play it as a cyclical trading bets from here on, because they won't be able to command a PE multiple of more than 8-9 on a 12-month forward basis. So that is the peak valuation, and on the downside it comes to 5 and 6 PE multiple. So it's now trading at towards the lower end of the range. So maybe 5-7% kind of an up move in this volatile environment, where you have some revenue and profitability visibility out there. So you can trade that. Apart from that, as an investment buy, they don't stand a chance.
Right, that's the word. But from Persistent, another stock is, and that's a large cap stock which is going to be in the action. Bring SL Tech on the screen. The results actually are today. We'll now actually discuss the expectations. What again we should be expecting from the result here. That's almost a flattish start is what is being indicated by the pre-open now. But now for that, let me welcome Harit Shah, the senior analyst from Reliance Equities, to the show. Harit, good morning and welcome. Help us understand what this time we should be expecting from SL Tech, and is it going to be a sort of a stable growth or a better performance versus what actually they delivered last quarter?
Yeah, so good morning. We are expecting about maybe 2.5% kind of sequential revenue growth on a constant currency basis in this quarter, and maybe flattish kind of margins. But I think more than that, I think what will be watched, of course, is further details on the IBM product buyout. So any kind of color in terms of the incremental amortization that the company will be required to expense to its profit and loss account, and incremental investments required to drive revenue of those products. And so that, I think, is an area that will be more keenly watched than the results themselves.
Right, on a guidance perspective, Harit, what we should be really actually looking at, is it more about the sort of commentary, what they're looking on the deal pipeline for the fourth quarter, or you would be again expecting them to deliver stronger growth in the life science and the BFSI space? Like, what do you want to look from a guidance perspective?
No, I mean, in any case, we just have one more quarter left in the year, so not too sure about any substantial changes in guidance. So as I said, further color on the IBM buyout is what is more important at the moment, given that that as and when the deal does eventually conclude, then products will be accounting for something like 20 to 45% of revenue. So none of the peers have such a higher revenue share coming from products, from the product business, and that business is completely different from software services. So clearly that is definitely more of a focus area than anything else at the moment.
Right, and Harit, one word, how you're incorporating the synergies from the recent acquisition. Would you like to have any more clarity or any sort of progression or progressive clarity on the acquisition?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what I was more or less alluding to, that they need to give some further details in terms of kind of incremental because I think these products do have a number fairly large client base. So what is the incremental potential for their services business to cross sell enter, and then and of course even more importantly, what is the incremental investments they need to make in product development, because the product business does require you to incur R&D and product development costs to ensure that you keep on upgrading the product from time to time. So that is another very critical factor to look out for this time.
While you're at it and discussing IT, a quick word on Persistent. It seemed like it was a good quarter for the mid-cap IT major.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, so the revenue was a little bit softer than what we were expecting. I think some revenue in the IT business that they were expecting didn't quite come through. So that's been a bit of a problem for some time in terms of predictability of their revenue. Margins, of course, were a positive surprise, and that is a good sign. I think because they had been operating at less than satisfactory margins for quite some time. So that I think that is definitely one of the positive takeaways from yesterday. And the buyback, I think, definitely should give some sort of support to the stock. So so I think in a nutshell, maybe slightly more positive than negative, but revenue predictability and acceleration in revenue, I think that is something that we still await at the moment.
Harith, very lastly, a quick stock call on Persistent, and while we are discussing IT names, anything that you've got a word on, a quick stock pick from the IT sector?
We have a buy on Persistent around 740, 745, 750 is our target. As an IT sector as a whole, I think within large caps we like Infosys, and within the mid cap space we like a company like Sonata and Hexaware.
Sonata, Hexaware, Persistent, those are the three buy calls coming from Harith Shah this morning. All eyes on HCL Tech, that will report earnings later on in the day, and that's what we have. Along with that, you've got Axis Bank, HDFC, Bajaj Finance, Bank of Baroda, Johnson Control, Himadri Specialty Chemicals, amongst the other ones that are expected to report numbers. You've got a whole bunch of about 50 names from the broader markets too that will be reporting earnings in today's day of trade. From what we have, a reaction to Bank of India, Tata Power, Praj, CEAT, Persistent, Shoppers Stop are some of the other ones to watch out for in trade today. Ashish, very quickly, a word on CEAT or any other auto major or tire companies. Crude is under some pressures. I'm assuming there could be some buying that tire companies could see.
So Samina, one trend which is clear in this entire tire basket is that even when the crude was falling earlier, we have not seen a very sharp recovery in names like Apollo Tyres, CEAT, or JK Tyres, and now we are seeing some kind of downtrend resuming in these names. So there can be some short-term pullback trends which might emerge, but honestly this are really not showing a very strong trend reversal. So one should avoid taking any aggressive bet just because these stocks are seeing some recovery. Better to use this recovery in these stocks to reduce your long exposure which you have earlier taken in these names.
Right, that's the call coming in on a couple of these names that we are watching out for. Stocks like Adani, Persistent. Not sure the Piyush has discussed Adani Group names with a guest, but Jay, you want to just come in on some of these Adani companies? We've seen what happened yesterday. They made the markets extremely volatile. The VIX was up 6.5%. And you are seeing some sort of stability, consolidation, whatever you want to call it, emerging in a few of those Adani counters. What is today's trade going to look like?
These are very risky counters, Samina, and Adani Ports has actually come very close to its previous bottom at about October and has had a spike off from those lows. So there is a possibility that it's going to hold that low for some time now. So if you are an intraday trader, you might want to keep that October low in mind and yesterday's low in mind. As long as that's not violated, you might want to take a punt on a very small quantity on the long side. But once that low goes, the bottom is falling out for the stock. But nothing goes up straight or nothing falls down straight. But if you look at Adani Ports, it's fallen from 400 straight all the way to about sub 300. So that's a 33% shave off from the highs. So so you want to be sensible about what you're doing in these counters. Don't, if you are punting, don't punt big quantities. Keep them small and do sensible and.
Well, Jay, give me a minute. You're right. It's a tough market and it's a tough stock or tough group of stocks to trade. But we're off to a start that was more or less an expected line. It's a flat opening with a slight negative bias on the Nifty itself. Remember, most of us are betting that the second half of the day will see some recovery. At least that's what the F&O pictures indicated up until yesterday closing. Bank Nifty continues to see some pressure, 0.2% cut there. And your broader markets, the mid-cap in particular, is performing in line with the benchmark with a cut of 0.2%. 10,630, you never know, 10,600 may get tested over the next couple of minutes, and that could be a trigger point for some buying to emerge, hopefully. Well, no, nothing much to write home about. There are a few names that are trading higher, so we'll start with those first. Adani Port is up about 1% odd. Again, no big gains there, but marginally high is what we have. IT continues to see some buying, and this is frontline IT that we are reiterating on, because mid-cap IT is actually cracked under pressure over the last 3 to 4 days. Most of your mid-cap IT names, barring NIT Tech, are down about 10 to 12%. So along with frontline IT and NIT Tech, everything else in the tech pack that has been looking weak. But HCL is up 0.6% ahead of numbers. CCS is not looking bad. Infosys and Wipro would be the other IT names that are worth mentioning. Ultratech is up 0.3%. Indusin is trading marginally higher. L&T and ITC are your only gainers in trade. The breadth of the market is fairly weak. There's a very obvious and clear bias to the downside. The biggest loser this morning in the Nifty 50 is Indiabulls Housing, down 2%. GAIL is looking weak. Cipla is down 1.5%. Auto is having it quite rough. Metals are having it quite bad. Axis is down 1% ahead of numbers. Yes Bank, Bharti Airtel, Bajaj Finserv, Asian Paints are some of the losers in trade that we are picking up. Amongst your banking majors, you've only got 3 banking names that are trading higher, which is Federal, Bank of Baroda and IndusInd Bank. And when I say higher, they're just trading marginally in the positive territory. There is no big gains on any of these counters that I just mentioned. Edelweiss continues its good run, so NBFCs are in a good spot, but again it's a very mixed picture there too. So while an Edelweiss is looking extremely good, you have some other NBFCs that continue to see weakness building up in trade. L&T, Indian Bank, Blue Dart are some of the counters that are picking up some interest in early trade. Amongst your broader market names, there will be a whole bunch of them that Piyush should highlight for you. I'll just take you through a few earnings reaction before that. So if I can get Bank of India, which is reacting to earnings, Tata Power, Praj Industries is up 7% on very healthy volumes. Numbers were good from the company, so the counter is seeing some reaction to that. SIAT reported numbers, so there's a reaction to SIAT's earnings. Persistent Systems, Shoppers Stop are some of the big ones you want to touch upon in the broader markets that are seeing a reaction to what they've posted. SIAT is down nearly 3% in trade. Praj is up about 8%. Bank of India is an outperformer in the banking names.
Right, and as you were talking about all the stocks, I was looking at the sectoral market breadth. Very, very weak indeed. Again, you actually are seeing a spike in VIX, and then again, VIX actually is now above 19. Number 2, most of the sectors are trading in red, and along with that, actually, you are seeing sharp cuts in Bank Nifty, almost 90 points down, 80 to 90 points down, and along with that, again, Nifty actually is showing a lesser drop again, so it's looking like a weak start for us. Mid-cap index, small-cap index also again 0.5% down, but what actually is resisting strong moves? Let's bring a couple of small cap stocks here. Responsive Industries again, Supreme Petrochem, Asahi Songwan, these actually are making some strong moves. And from there, it's another bad day for HEG Graphite. Graphite is again 6% down, and these stocks actually continue to make some down moves. While again Praj is right there on your screen, it's a breaking stock, again almost 7% up, some strong improvement profitability. But HEG Graphite again, that's right there on your screen again, continuous decline happening there. Also, couple of stocks which are making some sort of sharp declines, and that is Chennai Petro, result reaction 4% down. You have Avanti Feeds, which is 4% down, again the volumes are picking up here. Philips Carbon 3% down. Intellect Design from the mid cap IT pack, again 3% down. And then you also have selling coming in Kedla Health, almost 2% down. Remember, again there is a news flow around Sun Pharma and Kedla again, which has a good exposure. There is a drug approval which has come, and that could be again indirect competition to Kedla. Again, that Kedla basically seeing selling pressure. On the derivative side, where is open interest jumping right now? PSU banks actually are seeing short build-up happening from Bank of India. Good build-up happening there. 8% addition open interest. The stock is down 3% already. You also have short build-up happening in Oriental Bank, and again from there you are seeing some mild long addition which has just started to happen, almost 6% addition of open interest for Wipro, so you can watch out for that. CID is saying short build up, weak results, and the stock basically is down almost 1%, 8% again open interest addition happening there. So couple of stocks again, but looks like again theme is very clear. IT a bit of positive bias, PSU banks clear shorts, then you also have again a short build up happening financial stocks. For example, Dewan Housing Finance down 3%, short build up happening there. So again, financials are under pressure, PSU banks, NBFCs, those all under pressure. So let's ask this
word actually, even media names are seeing some buying this morning. So Network 18 is up about 8% in early trade. So that counter is doing well. If you can get Z back on the screen after yesterday's very volatile start and then ending the day with a 14% gain. Let's pull up the Z group names and see what's happening. SL Propack, remember, was the better place counter anyway in the group companies, but even this morning Z Entertainment is not giving up those gains that it picked up on yesterday. Now whether or not it's going to recover that 40% loss that we saw last week is anybody's guess, but for now it's still holding on and keeping itself together. M&M is having a strong morning, so if I can get M&M live space, Mahindra live space on the screen, it should be helpful to see what the stock is getting up to. You've also got ESCI that's having a good trade, 4% higher on that one. Mahindra live space is what I'm talking about, 3% move on that counter. Bharat Financial Inclusion is up 4%. Hindustan Copper is trading with a 4% move in trade. Inox Wind is up 3%. Shoppers Stop is looking good. So you have small sort of gainers across the board, largely from the broader markets. There's no theme, I believe, Piyush, that is playing out in the street today. IT is seeing some buying. We've talked about stocks like Tata Elxsi, KPIT extensively over the last few days because the selling pressure was undaunted. Most people believe there has been a breakdown on those counters, but what we're getting this morning is some buying that's actually coming in at low levels in some of the names that we just mentioned. Ashish, would you be buying Z today? I mean, it's a flat start. Of course, the word on the street is that there will be some more buying that will emerge, but it's not happening just yet. Good time to enter, you think?
I would avoid Samina, because you know what has happened. This stock has seen a very sharp correction, and there's some pullback which we are witnessing due to short covering, due to some kind of long accumulation at lower levels. But technically speaking, till it doesn't crosses 385 on a closing basis, I think any recovery it will be short-lived. So I'll wait for a clear close above 385 to really take a call that whether the stock is entering into a strong uptrend. But otherwise, I think 375, 380 would be a good area if you are already long, to reduce your long exposure at around these levels.
Would you buy mid-cap IT today? KPIT, Tata Elxsi, intraday, pullback expected? I mean, it's only a matter of time, I
yeah,
imagine,
so
right?
pullback, for a pullback trade, yes, because I think after seeing a sharp correction, there can be a pullback of 2 to 3% in these names. So maybe Tata Elxsi would be a preferred bet. A move towards 915, 920 could not be ruled out, but crossing 920 in a shorter term looks little difficult, because that was an important support levels which we have already seen as a breakdown. So I think a pullback till 915 is what one can expect in Tata Elxsi. For that, I think 880 should be kept as a trading stop loss. But if you ask me a clear trend, then I think Tech Mahindra is something which is looking very promising on a daily, weekly chart. We have already witnessed 4% open interest addition in today's trading session. So this is a buy. 724 would be my trading stop loss. 780 would be a shorter term target in Tech Mahindra.
Right, that's low stocks coming from Ashish, but one conclusion from the last 8 minutes, and that is the trend is still not clear. Again, the market is just not, market is all over the place, I should say. Bank of India actually has recovered half of the losses from the start. Oriental Bank is into green. Wipro is making some more inroads into green. CIAT, the losses actually started reducing. So what it tells you, again, the trends actually are not stabilizing here. But one stock is making steady gains, and that's Ultratech Cement. Mr. Rudamurthy, what's the word on Ultratech Cements? Is the chart looking good to you? 3% gains. Again, there is open interest again, which is slowly picking up, but again the gains are coming there.
See, for pure intraday trade, you can see Ultratech Cement on futures, it has made an open low formation, which is very positive for an intraday trader, and also stock is trading above the average prices, trading above previous day close. All these things tells me that today is a great buy for Ultratech Cement. Look at targets of 3,500 to come, and you can have a stop loss right now closer to 3,455 on futures level. And also I want to make a comment on overall market. Just look at overall market, look at stocks like ICICI Bank, look at stocks like Bajaj Finance. In fact, morning I gave 3 buy calls in this very bad market, and all the 3 buy calls morning given was Bajaj Finance, L&T, HCL Tech. You can see all 3 stocks are positive. In fact, Bajaj Finance 2490 was my future target, which has been done from open and a 30-point move. I am telling very clearly, positionally this market is weak, but having sold out for last 3 days 350 point, as a short term trader, don't look at any selling opportunity today. Rather, if market stabilizes, look at buying opportunity as a day trader or 1 or 2 day kind of a trader. But if I have to sell this market, I will wait for a rise and then only sell. and IT for me looks very positive. In fact, I'll pick up stocks like Ultratech Cement, which you now told, or pick up stocks like Bajaj Finance, and in fact ICICI Bank we bought morning at 343-44 zone, and in fact today there are rumors also happening like at that Cobra Post meeting the stock might be ICICI Bank, but it has already been enough discounted, and we are not betting on a huge up move in ICICI Bank. This is just a retracement trade, so people have to be very careful in this volatile market and do respect risk, because that is the only thing in the control of a trader.
Risk, that's the only thing in control of a trader. That's clearly what a trade has been all about over the last couple of weeks. Dharmesh, we've got a bunch of earnings and I'm going to take them together because of course over the next couple of days you've got Axis, which comes out today, ICICI Bank and of course Bajaj Finance too, that reports in this week. How would you approach some of these banking majors ahead of numbers?
I think the numbers which have been announced by other banking majors were pretty much encouraging. If you look at the NII, the growth has been pretty good. Even NIMs have improved and the operating profits have improved across the board. On the NPA side, fresh slippages were muted. It was not alarming fresh slippages which we have noticed anywhere. And gross NPA, net NPA was very much controlled. What has happened is most of them have to provide for IL/FS exposure, and that is what is bringing the profitability down. Even the PSU banks which announced their numbers yesterday, be it Canara Bank or Bank of India, numbers per se, if you compare it with the last 1.5 years, were pretty good. So I don't see an alarm out there. Axis Bank and ICICI Bank again will have to provide some of the provisioning for IL/FS exposure. If you remove that from the trajectory of the profitability, then I think the advances growth, NIMS growth and the NII growth should be very encouraging. So both of them is a buy at the present moment, and I think BFSI is the segment which should be a very good Q4. They will see a very good Q4. So from here on, with this correction which has happened due to the market correction, the price led, these all are good buying opportunities. On the pecking order, a top stock would be IndusInd Bank, followed by RBL Bank, and even Yes Bank looks very good to me at current levels.
Right, Yes Bank, RBL are some of the banking names that look good. It's turned positive. We thought this would happen in the second half of trade, but the markets have turned positive in the first 15 minutes of opening. 10,662, the gains are being led by Bank Nifty and mid-cap names. Bank Nifty is pretty much gone into the green now. In fact, most of your banking names are trading higher. Bank Nifty itself is at 26,700. Mid-cap is trading with a marginal gain this morning. Of course, the Nifty 50 is still trying to consolidate, find its feet and then get a push up. But Bank Nifty for now conclusively in positive territory, up about 35 odd points. Federal, ICICI Bank, Bank of Baroda are trading with gains of over 1% to 1.5%. Remember at 9:15 when the markets opened up, there were no real gainers amongst the banking majors, and now there's been a very sharp recovery that's played out. Ashish, would you go long on Bank Nifty right now? 26,660 or any banking names for the day?
Yeah, so I think SBI looks good to me. Rather than taking a bet on the entire Bank Nifty, I think State Bank of India, after seeing a sharp correction from 310 to almost 280, is seeing a good open interest addition and recovery from lower levels. So with a stop below 280, I think State Bank could be bought for an upside till 295, 296 zone.
Well, that's the word on bank, but indeed again there is a sort of buoyancy which is coming into NBFCs also. Edelweiss, let's bring that stock on the screen, 2% up. Shriram City Union Finance, 2% up. Canara Bank, Federal Bank, Indian Bank, all actually are up 2%. And while we're talking about the large cap banks, there is a positivity again amongst the banking. So the market bet within the Bank Nifty constituents is looking positive, and because of Bank Nifty, Nifty actually has moved higher. So that's how volatile it has been. But let's talk about two stocks here where actually we are seeing some good moves, and one is definitely the housing finance pack where again there is still some weakness, and second is OMCs where actually we are seeing some short build up. So coming to Mr. Rudamurthy, OMCs, how's the trade looking to you?
See, I don't want to pick up today OMCs. For me as a trader, in fact it was not at 9:15, 8:45. I was shouting, see the position at which markets are, and intraday I was so clear there is a bounce expected. I want to buy banks today, I don't want to buy OMCs. That doesn't mean I've turned positive on market. I'm only telling pure intraday, understand the time frames, and for me if I have to pick, I'll be picking banking. But however, this is just a trade for from now 150 points move on Bank Nifty, which can take to even 26,850 to 26,900 level. In fact, morning 26,600 was the stop loss on Bank Nifty future, and we bought at 26,650. 50 point stop loss, 300 point target. If you do these kinds of trade with very good risk reward ratio, even with 30%, 40% accuracy, you will make money. But other way around, if you play for 50 point target with 200 point stop loss, even with 90% accuracy, you lose money. So as a trader, understand trade edge. For me today, it's a clear buy, and I'll be looking at buying banking. I'm in fact long on Bank Nifty future. We are in fact buying call options and we are holding on Bank Nifty, and this is just a short term intraday to maximum 1 to 2 day kind of a trade. Positionally markets are clearly weak, so understanding the time frame, traders have to position themselves.
Ashish, even farmers turn positive. The Sun Farmer is up 1.5%. DVs is not looking too bad, but then again, every time it doesn't look too bad, it makes a move downward because of those concerns around the farmer sector or the markets generally. What are you doing with some of these farmer names? Anything you'd buy today?
Samina, so we need to understand DVs is in a band and it's not showing a very strong downward reversal, whereas most of the other farmer stocks have seen a very sharp correction from the recent highs. So I think we have been discussing DVs since 1520, 1530 odd levels, and still it is trading somewhere around 1485. And if you look at today's trading session, almost 8% open interest addition has already been witnessed in DV's lab. And with this, I think today's low, which is around 1467, becomes an extremely important support zone for the market. So if 1467 should be kept as a trading stop loss for going long in DV's lab, I am expecting stock to retest the recent resistance zone, which is around 1530, 1540. Once we see a decisive breakout above 1540, then I think much stronger uptrend could be visible in DV's lab. But in a very short term time frame, 1530 would be my shorter term target in DV's lab, and for that 1467 should be kept as an trading stop loss. Apart from that, Torrent Pharma is also one stock which is looking good on a positional side. Stock has witnessed some kind of selling pressure in last 4 trading sessions, but in today's trading session we are seeing some good uptick coming in the stock. So with that, I think 1840 should be kept as a trading stop loss. 1940, 1950 would be my shorter term target in Torrent Pharma as well.
Right, so that's some of the stocks coming from Ashish. And now let's focus on a couple of themes which are looking interesting, and for that purpose let's bring cement counters firstly once again. India Cements, Ultratech Cements we talked about, showing some good positivity, good open risk build up. In fact, we are talking about yes, a good build up, 1% almost. Now from there, India Cements, good sort of movement again which is coming, good volumes, trading at days high. Now bring Ambuja Cements on the screen. Now what the theme is developing today is whether if you are into road space, if you are into cement, then actually definitely you are seeing some positive uptick here. That's Ambuja. Now bring Ahluwalia Contracts here. That's another company again into the sort of infra space here again. So that's Ahluwalia for you. Almost again the volumes are very low. Reliance Infra, that's another stock which is making some good gains, and that stock is also again performing. And from there we will go to the power space. So REC, PFC, and then also CESC. CESC in fact is seeing very strong open interest addition. So that's Reliance. Now go to CESC and then bring PFC, REC, and then we'll take a chart for you again. So these are two themes which are outperforming today. One is cement, which was seeing short build up yesterday. Today the tide has turned. And second again is power here. So Jay, coming to you, one word on how is PFC looking to you, and if there is any cement stock which you're liking.
Yeah, see, in the power space, I like CESC more than REC, PFC and all. Basically, it's the reason why I like CEC at current level is it's had a horizontal consolidation, and there is a two-way trade possible here. So, if it breaks 725, it will be an upward breakout. But if it were to break down below 650, you'll have a downward breakout. So, be prepared on these borders. Once you see the price move beyond these zones, you can trade accordingly. And when it comes to cement stocks, I like Ultratech Cement, and from the lows of about 32.80, the recent highs, the highs of December, January has gone up in 5 steps. It's pointing to a trend, and in today's session, it's clocking a higher low and reversing in a smart fashion near those levels. So it is not only looking good on an intraday basis. There is a good potential that the low of 32.80 made in 2018 is likely to hold and is probably going to take out the December-January highs, and it's offering very good positional trade as well. So I like Ultratech from the cement space.
Right, so Ultratech Cement and CSE is something which Jay is liking, but Mr. Rudamurthy, two stocks, and if there's anything you like in them, one is TVS Motors, 2% uptake coming there, and second, United Breweries, it's a good open risk addition which is happening there on the long side for both the stocks. TVS, again, we know again we are moving towards the month and there's budget also, but again the monthly sales numbers also. So there is some positivity coming there, but are the charts looking good enough?
Yeah, see, if I have to take TVS Motor, in fact today we are seeing strong supports at 479 on TVS Motor, and on the upside it can definitely move on and test levels closer to 500, 510. So if I have to pick up stocks, TVS Motor definitely will be on my list. And similarly, if I see even McDowell, and this stock even in futures seeing some amount of support emerging at current level, McDowell even looks for me positive. So look at targets closer to 575 on McDowell and have a stop loss somewhere closer to 540. These are at least 1:3 kind of a risk reward trade, and definitely I'll be looking at even buying these kinds of counter. But one has to understand these are just for a day or two, expecting retracement kind of a trade, but positionally markets are definitely weak, but one has to ensure you position yourself based on your time frame and pick up the right stocks with risk management.
Right, no one's taking that away. There is a tough market and it is a weak market. Structurally, things, of course, not working in our favor. For now, we're trying and we're struggling to make a breakthrough upward. The Nifty is trading flat. Bank Nifty also is between gains and losses, trading with a cut of about 30 odd points right now. The broader markets are keeping themselves together. Adani Group names are big gainers. Pharma names like Sun Pharma are back up and running in trade. You've also got NBFCs that are in focus. Mid-cap IT seeing some buying in the session right now. So it is turning out to be the kind of morning that you were expecting it to be. There's no surprises there. It's a tough trade. Praj Industries, Adani Power, Lind India, some of your big gainers in the morning. Adani Port, Adani Green, REC, Persistent, Ultratech, Edelweiss are some of your gainers that we are picking up on this morning. We'll take a break on that note, but gentlemen, thanks a ton for joining in. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll come back. We'll take you to some important developments, connect with the management with Scotts and Persistence to get a sense of their earnings. So a lot more on the other side, so keep it with us.